something that happened very recently, actually, probably the day of the transit. A few days ago, I was in Dakar, Senegal, and it was a Sunday. Yeah, it was a Sunday, and in Dakar, all the Western Unions are closed on Sundays. So I had to get money. It was like my last day there. I needed to get money so that I can, take a cab and, get all my stuff to the airport, so on and so forth. So I'm walking all around the car trying to find a Western Union. And mind you, I don't speak much French, which is the main language there, all up in French. So I'm asking people here and there, Western Union, they'll tell me it's closed. So finally I run into this one guy and he's like, every Western Union in the car is closed except for one at the airport. It's 24 hours. If you go there, they should be able to help you. So I'm like, cool. At this point, I have very little money on me. So I had to do what I had to do, and I decided, I guess I'm walking to the airport, which is about approximately probably 6 miles away, maybe a little more, a little less. And basically, I pulled out my map on my phone and I just walked the trail. And it was a very, very long walk, extremely long. It was scenic to a certain point, but then after a while, I was on the highway and shit just wasn't making sense. So, but one thing that was driving me, because it was very daunting, but I was missing my children, like a lot. I was like, I just want to see them. I'm thousands of miles away. And I knew that if I wanted that to happen and not to be stuck in the car, I would have to do whatever I had to do, which was take this long trip. So I'm walking, feet are hurting, my phone dies, so the map I had on Google, or the Google Maps thing I had on my phone, I don't have that anymore, and I just gotta really just take everything that I already have learned from being in the car and use that to navigate to get to this airport. I have a general idea of where the Atlantic Ocean is and its proximity to the airport and where I'm at, and that's all I really had to go off of. Just kept walking, felt like I was getting lost, but I would ask people and they would, put me in a generally good direction. Long story short, I eventually make it there, and come to find out, the Western Union is closed. So I'm like, I did all this walking for nothing. And again, the beauty about this situation is that I had to get out of it, which is, again, this for me is the spirit of Scorpio. It has to be done. So against the odds, what am I gonna do? I live in the car now, or because I'm too afraid or whatever to not just give up on what I have to do. But where my emotions lie, what I needed to get done was so important that I was relentless about what I had to do just to get on the plane. So I end up finding a Western Union finally, and then another obstacle comes where they're telling me that it's gonna take 2 hours for the money that I have that I already transferred to come. My flight's in 2 hours. So I'm like, fuck, how am I gonna get through this? How am I gonna figure this out and just do what I have to do? So luckily at the airport they had an ATM, so I could get the money out and rush and get back and forth, get back to my place, my Airbnb, grab my stuff and ride to the airport in the cab. And then another obstacle comes. I end up missing my flight. So I missed my flight. The next flight wasn't until that next morning. It was going to Turkey, where there's a layover. Then I'd be in Turkey for a whole 12 hours. So I'd spend the night in Turkey. And all these things piled on top of each other that are, stopping me from getting where I need to get to. But I know at that point in my trip, I just wanted so desperately, so badly to be home. I had to do what I had to do. That's the best way to put it. Kind of keep my emotions in control, but still allow it to guide me in a constructive way. I think that's the best way to kind of navigate through Jupiter and Scorpio, because I predict a lot of things are going to test us in that way in whatever, endeavor we have. But it's really universe going, do you really want this? Do you really want it? Are you sure? Because if you do, we're gonna see how much you want it. We're gonna see if you're gonna give up right here or you're gonna push through. Because it's another characteristic of the sign of Scorpio is investigating. Finding the inner workings and the structure, and finding the solution to something that's not so obvious and readily available. But just knowing that I gotta get from point A to point B, and if there's something in the way of it, I gotta figure it out. Through my intuition, through little hints and things that, life in the universe throws your way to kind of give you a clue of how to solve it. It's not easy, and that's the point. It makes you work. So I think in everything we're doing, that's gonna be the major climate of it, which makes life pretty fun. In the moment, it could be very scary, but I think the thing that got me through was really being in control of my emotions. There were times where I had to spaz on somebody or just do whatever. If my emotions would get all up, and I'm just like, oh, this ain't getting me where I need to go. But when I'm just kind of like, still have the same emotion, but I direct it almost like a laser, I eventually get to, my desired destination. So even when I got to Turkey, I lost my luggage. I was running around the airport for probably 2 hours looking for my luggage. Then I asked somebody for the lost and found, and then I'm told that I have to get a visa to step right outside of the passport border where they check your passport to let you into the country. A few yards away, just to go to the lost and found. So I had to get a visa. They're giving me a runaround. I finally get my visa. Just to walk outside, I'm still in the airport to go to lost and found, find my luggage. And I remember before I actually did it, because I was like, am I really gonna spend money to buy a visa to possibly, don't know if it's there, it might not be there, but to possibly find my luggage, or to just have wasted my money on a visa, and I know I'm gonna be leaving in probably 8 hours. So I remember before that moment, what I did to calm myself down was I drew. I was working on a sketch, and it kind of helped me channel my emotions in a way that it helped me kind of let my emotions simmer. They're still there. I know the desire just to get home was still there, but it was okay, now we just got to follow the steps necessary to get this one solution, this one problem solved. So once I was calmer, I was able to, I had to get the visa, I had to take the L and, get my visa so I can step a few steps outside of the whatever border. It was ridiculous. But got my luggage. I was so happy because I had gifts, for my family and stuff. And then after that, I think once the flight came, it was pretty smooth sailing after that. But it was just the whole experience, those 2 days were a very powerful test for me as to how desire works and how accomplishing your goals works, and what you have to, what you're willing to do, not what you gotta do, what are you willing to do just to accomplish everything that you need to accomplish. That's my Jupiter and Scorpio experience, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be going through similar things, but I say having some form of meditation, having something that kind of centers you and centers your emotions is something that will help you navigate through these months, because it's going to be here for a while. I think actually a whole year, or a little less than a year. We're currently in this transit now. It doesn't end till November 18th, 2018. So, we got a lot of work to do. But the beauty about this transit is that when you get to that other side, what you accomplish can be powerful. You know, to be more powerful than the obstacle that came in your way. And I think a lot of us are gonna leave, you know, this transit very fulfilled in a way that we never knew we could be, because it really pushed us to be better people. It pushed us to transform, which is that's another characteristic that Scorpio represents. It represents transformation, evolving, resurrection, all those things. These are the things that deal with Scorpio. Death. And I don't think it'll necessarily mean that we're all going to experience a death in our family, but I think it's more of a metaphorical death of the old you in this transit. All your bad habits, all the bad habits that you have that have stopped you from accomplishing what you need to accomplish and what you desire to accomplish. In order for you to achieve it, that old you has to die. And you have to be resurrected and transformed into this new person, this better person. And, I look forward to seeing a lot of people evolve, including myself. That's what. Peace, my name is Daddy Longlegs. I'm a Brooklyn-based astrologer. You can follow me on my Instagram page at Dad Longlegs, spelled DADLONG.